I want to bring in the other statement made by the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath. Big statement on Sambhal dispute. Now addressing the assembly, the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath, said that the disputed structure in Sambhal, Hindus should get what is rightfully theirs. This after the Allahabad High Court on Tuesday agreed to refer to the Sambhal structure as a disputed structure, hearing a petition filed by the Mosque Committee. The Samajwadi Party has accused Yogi Adityanath government of targeting minorities. Yogi Adityanath government is making efforts to revamp Sambhal. They say that of the 68 shrines there, 54 have now been recovered, 19 wells have been recovered, and they will now be repaired and restored. We get you more in this report.
जो हमारा है वो हमें मिल जाना चाहिए। सच कड़वा होता है और उस कड़वे सच को स्वीकार करने की सामर्थ्य भी होनी चाहिए। एक बड़ी संख्या है।
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath makes a big claim on Sambhal, where a dispute is brewing over reclaiming of a masjid. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, addressing the assembly, said that the demolished 67 pilgrimage sites and 19 wells in Sambhal have now been traced and freed from encroachment. The Chief Minister insisted that the Hindus should get what's theirs and nothing more than that.
अकेले संभल में 67 तीर्थ थे और 19 कूप भी थे, जिनको एक शरारत के तहत एक निश्चित समय के अंदर समाप्त कर दिया गया। जिनमें से 68 तीर्थों में से 54 तीर्थों को ढूंढना, ये तो हमारी विरासत का हिस्सा है। हमने तो वही कहा है कि जो हमारा है वो हमें मिल जाना चाहिए। हम उससे इतर कहीं नहीं जा रहे हैं।
Hindu outfits insist that the Shahi Jama Masjid in Sambhal was built after demolishing the Harihar temple during the Mughal era. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister's statement comes even as the Allahabad High Court called the masjid a disputed structure.
कोर्ट में मामला चल रहा है तो कोर्ट में विवादित ढांचा ही कहा जाएगा, और जब तक कोर्ट में फैसला नहीं हो जाता इसको मस्जिद नहीं कहा जा सकता। इसीलिए कोर्ट ने न्याय की तुला संतुलन रखने के लिए इसको विवादित ढांचा कहा है।
A war of words erupted between the BJP and the Samajwadi Party over the dispute.
और अदालत के हर आदेश का सरकार पालन कराएगी। संभल में इस समय बहुत ही अच्छा माहौल है, अच्छा वातावरण है, चारों तरफ शांति है और विकास का काम तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है।
संभल में अत्याचार और उत्पीड़न किसी से छिपा नहीं है। ये केवल अल्पसंख्यक लोगों को टारगेट पर बना रहे हैं।
A survey of the Shahi Jama Masjid ordered by the district court had triggered violent protests in Sambhal in November last year that left 5 people dead. The matter is pending in court after the Supreme Court put all surveys of disputed places of worship on hold. Bureau Report, India Today. Ghanshyam Tiwari, Shivpal Yadav says Atyachar, Utpiran or Alpsankyak or minorities are being targeted by government's action in Sambhal. Explain that, sir.
The champion of hateful slogans such as Batenge Katenge, 80% 20% ki ladai, right, was questioned in the parliament by MPs across party lines, who said in parliament, wrote, and India Today showed that Uttar Pradesh government is responsible for, under Adityanath, responsible for murderous conspiracy in Sambhal. You did a debate talking about the Pakistani bullets found in Sambhal. All those things vanished. Not one BJP MP stood in parliament and said Adityanath did not conspire in Sambhal, or his government was not murderous in Sambhal. Why did that happen? The Prime Minister was sitting there, the Home Minister was sitting there, because BJP MPs, at least in parliament, know the truth. As far as Adityanath saying that jo hamara hai hame mil jana chahiye, Gaurav, you cover national security. China controls 38,000 square kilometers of Indian territory. Why doesn't Adityanath say जो हमारा है हमें मिल जाना चाहिए, और Prime Minister से जो हमारा है हमें मिल जाना चाहिए, rather than doing $101 billion trade deficit with China? These people believe in propaganda. They do not believe in action. They believe that by this propaganda, they will create a ghost that will make people forget the hard-earned money they are losing in the Indian stock market, the exam papers that are leaking, and the joblessness that is putting every youth to despair.
Fair enough. Anila Singh, respond. There are three very critical charges that are being leveled. One, about a bullet with Pakistani markings. Two, जो हमारा है हमें मिल जाना चाहिए. While Yogi Adityanath may have spoken of the Sambhal structure, what about what's happening at the LAC is what Samajwadi Party asks. Respond to these points being made, ma'am.
I think Samajwadi Party's limitation should be till appeasement politics. They are not fit enough to discuss geopolitics here. We know it very well. Their mindset and their knowledge level. We know it. Because in every of the panel discussion, talk to them, they will say Adityanath, he will say, they'll call him Ajay Singh Bisht. They will start accusing him. They will start comparing him with the Hitler. You know, same rhetoric. So I do not want to go into it. Leave Bharat. Bharat knows how to treat China very well, how to treat Pakistan, and everybody knows the power of Bharat. So Samajwadi Party should mind its own business. But the reality is, when our Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ji says, जो हमारा था, वो हमको मिलना चाहिए और हम लेकर रहेंगे, बिल्कुल लेकर रहेंगे साहब. Like if I talk about
आपका क्या था जो आपके पास नहीं है? Let's talk specifics. What are you referring to? Because as far as Ghanshyam Tiwari is concerned, he is referring to LAC. What are you referring to?
Do you think that Yogi Adityanath ji is going to talk about LAC in Uttar Pradesh Vidhan Sabha in Assembly? He is going to talk about LAC. Mr. Tiwari knows very well what he was talking about, and he is very correct. In this great nation of ours, where 1 billion strong Hindus, they have to go through parliament and court, and they have to fight for their own right. A majority population, an example of its own in whole of the world, they have to keep on fighting. Why? They have to fight for the temples, for the Devi and Devtas, because the majority time, the Congress party, which was ruling our country, they wanted to do appeasement politics for their own selfish gains, and they targeted Hindus and the political parties like Samajwadi Party. We know that how they
What
got
about the bullet with the Pakistani marking that he refers to? That,
Sorry?
according to Ghanshyam Tiwari says during investigations, initially it was said that bullets with Pakistani markings were found. Why is the BJP silent on that? No BJP MP defended Yogi Adityanath in Parliament.
We know it very well that everything has been discussed. And if Mr. Tiwari is so much worried about the shells of the bullets, investigation is on. We know it. And even he knows it. And still if he is accusing Yogi Sarkar in Uttar Pradesh and he thinks that people do not understand what investigations are going on, then Samajwadi Party is making a fool of itself. And I'm not bothered about it. This country has been eulogizing Barbar, Tipu Sultan, Aurangzeb, all those killers. Now no more.
Okay.
Like we Bharatiya should know the real history. That these were barbarians and they killed Hindus and Sanatanis.
Okay.
Sorry?
We'll track that story closely. You've made your point. And Ghanshyam Tiwari, since you specifically referred to my covering national security, there are two aspects here. I interviewed the Superintendent of Police of Sambhal on that Pakistani bullet. That's a matter of investigation. It has been put as part of the charge sheet, including the conversation about a certain Ghulam who stays in the same area as Ziaur Rahman Bark, the Samajwadi Party MP. He's also referred to a person called Sharik Satha, who's currently in Dubai, and they're tracing the recovery of the ammunition and these two elements who are missing. The MP, again, will be called for questioning, is what the Superintendent of Police has said on record to India Today. You want to quickly refer to? Okay, since you also raised the issue of line of actual control, sir, on an issue of national security, and since I have reported from Daulat Beg Oldie in Ladakh that territory is with India. The territory that the opposition says has been lost, sir, look at the bigger picture of territory that's been lost since independence, since 1962 war, and territory that India must recover. But if I may, that territory can only be recovered when India speaks in one voice. Territory that was lost in 62, territory that was lost in 65, and territory that India must regain. But not when opposition and the government speak in two different languages, sir. Because there, for China, we should be one India. And you, since Samajwadi Party had a defense minister, Mulayam Singh Yadav, you should know that better than anybody else, sir. I will let that take a break on this point. There's another very important story coming, but this is something that we really need to discuss in the days ahead on issues of national security. Can we have such divisive politics which hands over an advantage to the adversary?